Well, I don't. Crazy shit happening with all my stuff. It's not like it's not like crazy shit as in um you know unmanageable, but oh my gosh, it is just so hard getting this thing up and running after I messed it up with OBS somehow. I don't know what I did. And again, on for Twitch it says unable to connect. Yet it seems as though I'm online and active. So ay ay ay. And then these widgets will not work because I am not logged into Stream Elements. So yeah, I wish I knew how to get it all hunky dory, but shit, it's tough. It's tough out there in the streets. It's tough out here in the streets, and it's tough in the streets. So, yeah, I got to get that figured out, and then I'll get it figured out, and then it'll be figured out, and then we won't have to worry about it too much after that. But for now, we're on. I'm. Oh, wait. Nope. Yep. This microphone is active. Just want to make sure that all my settings look correct. It does not need the. Oh, hey, Amy, how's it going? It does not need the crazy, weird highlighted things on here. So yeah, I think this is good. I think we're good. I think we're all right. So eventually, I will be able to figure out how to fix this multi-stream thing, and then there won't be that watermark somewhere. And then, yes, indeed, I also forgot that forgot that it's Wednesday. I am like, I don't know if I'm getting summer sick or just sick of the weather or something, but I am feeling below it. I'm feeling around it, and I'm feeling underneath it. And I don't know what's going on. I think it might be allergies. That could be it. But you have to figure that out at a later date. At a later date. At a later date. At a later, yeah. Can't even speak right. So as is the same as last time, I have no active viewer counts. I just have a chat window. I have my my stream, and that's it. Unfortunately, it'd be cool if I could get that fancy high tech shit working. But we're still in the infancy of me learning how all this stuff technically works. Practically, I know how to use it, but it's difficult. My coughing is due to my asthmaticity. I've been out of allergy medicine for a while now, and this stuff that I got, it needs like 3 or 4 days to start working. So I'm even more out of breath than normal. But so today's agenda is to simply we're just gonna react to some cooking videos. That I usually will gravitate towards the stuff that I know the best, and it just happens to be that currently what I happen to know happens to be food. How many times can I fit "happen" into a statement, a single statement? Probably a lot. And then, depending on how long I can react, there's a cooking boot camp thing that I wanted to watch through. I may not have patience to watch through it all, but I would like to react to that, and it's broken up into several chapters. I think it's like 40 minutes. I don't think I'm obviously gonna speed through it, but the reason we're doing this, the only I always say we, but I usually mean me. I think what it is, you know how like some chefs say like, oh, like I call everybody chef. It's, I think, sort of something like that. Like I'm trying to show that there's like a collective, that we are a people, that there is a group of like-minded individuals who are heading towards a singular goal. So maybe I think that's why I do it. And it is fun to me to kind of bring other people on board to whatever I'm doing. If you are kind enough to join me here to listen to me talking, then you're probably going to like or relate somewhat to either the takes that I have or the videos that I'm watching. So it's just my hope that when I say we, I kind of mean we. Like maybe I'm looking for a we, maybe I'm trying to find that collective energy so that so that everyone who watches this and who is participating, well, so far it's just me right now, but the people who on this side who are participating, the person can feel like there is a collective, and then that'll be, a collective effort. We'll be contributing towards the consciousness cloud, if you will. My dog licked my glasses, so gotta clean them off. If we have time today, I will just jump right back into some Precinct, or maybe I had a copy of, or I had a key that I'm not sure was legit that somebody gave me for a new game that I may or may not be contributing towards the bad stuff that people do when they don't pay for games. Don't know if how much of that is able to be. If a person hypothetically was to admit to pirating a game, they probably shouldn't mention it. And so if I was, I never would. But there have been cases where sometimes I would buy cheaper discounted keys that I'm just not sure are used in a altogether above board sense. And sometimes those games you can tell because they don't update. So we'll see. I don't know if the game that I bought has... Well, if the game that I bought for a very cheap price ends up being a legitimate copy, then I can have Steam on while it's... Or like, you don't have to have Steam blocked or whatever, so we'll know pretty quickly. But that shit's always shady. I think when people are strapped for cash, they gotta do what they gotta do what you gotta do, or you gotta do what you gotta do. There's one of those GGG when you type in discount keys and you know which sites are the hacker ones, and so you stay away from those. Then you go to the other ones. Game keys, I think, is one of them. I don't know. We'll see. I just wanted to lay that out, just in case there's any kind of doubt or wonder or curiosity over why I might be playing a build that looks probably a little different, or maybe behind a few releases. There's no intent behind it. It just happens to be the scenario in which we find ourselves. Also, it's not a multiplayer game, but if it was, you'd be able to tell pretty instantly. I'm also thinking of just having entire streams where I would play Armor Reforger, but the reason I haven't done that yet is because I barely know how to play it myself. And if you want to see a worse gameplay performance than you've seen in me playing Delta Force, watch me play Armor Reforger before I know what's going on. Oh yes. That would be real fun. So, yeah, as soon as I finish my glasses, we're going to dive right into these cooking videos. And some of them, I'm pretty sure, are going to be a little disappointing, but there are those that might be fun and engaging. I just burped. Fun and engaging, and I'm hoping to find those. If I don't, I'm down to put my opinion to any of these lesser, poopier videos, but we shall find them along the way. Again, just wanted to say sorry if my energy's a little low because I am feeling kind of poopy myself. It will pass, but just gotta get stuck in, you know? So, sorry, I'm trying to stall as I'm finishing cleaning my glasses. I'm trying to verbally draw this out so that you don't miss the time that we're wasting with me being not ready by having to clean my glasses. It's a tough razor wire to walk, you know, talking about enough of nothing where it still kind of makes sense, but you're a little lost and you're like, what's the point? What's he getting at right now? You know, and it's funny because the point was, you know, it was there all along and we just had yet to see it. I just, you know, I always want to make sure that I'm grasping at a point when there is one. And this had no point, so we're good. Glasses are clean. Ah, fooled ya. All right.
It's going to keep it all together and stop your eyes from
make sure that I'm
watering
not
so much. And they have a
blowing out
beautifully
any of
diced
the-
onion.
Nope, we good.
This is one of the first techniques you learn
So, I mean, if you've seen any of my previous streams, then you probably already know what I'm going to say.
becoming a chef. So
in
we're going to chop
criticism
an onion.
To this, sorry, I'm adjusting
You
volume
need
levels.
to take the
while-
top off, keep the root on, and remove the skin. Cut it in half.
This
Then,
looks and
using your
sounds
knife,
good
cut
in my
2
ear.
lines
Let me know if it
horizontally
looks and
through the
sounds
onion
good.
to the.
to ya. So again, as I've said many times, this is a video that is purportedly meant to instruct what we would call like home chefs, home cooks, on how to properly cut an onion. And the first thing that they do is fine. But the second thing that they do, which is kind of, I think, a pattern that I see in all of these videos, is that they try to make it seem like they're communicating something that's like essential knowledge, or that is like some hidden secrets to kitchen, you know, methods. Jesus. That you know, that nobody knows, you know, like, but the reality is what she's teaching is not what anyone would learn in a kitchen on their first day. So imagine that you're just starting out and they show you how to cut the top of an onion off and not the bottom, right? And again, this is, I think, a really sort of innocent mistake, and I think this is a little pedantic and nitpicky, but why am I here if not to be pedantic and nitpicky? It would waste a lot of time and energy to instruct a new chef to not make things as efficient as possible. And there are a lot of cooks out there who aren't necessarily meant to be chefs, and there aren't exactly a lot of chefs out there who really, deserve their positions. And not to say that this chef is one of them, but if you are the type of cook that thinks I'm so much of an authority on something that I'm going to go online and I'm going to post a video about how to do this, then it would come to my mind that it would be very important to be good at what you're doing, and not like I think I'm good, and not like, okay, well, why'd you come over if you didn't want me to pay you? And not like, well, people say I'm good or anything like that. Like, actually be good. Be empirically good. Be the kind of person who wins awards or who is asked to go and do things. Speaking of, by the way, I do have a pop-up coming up that I am currently spitballing plans around for. Amy, I know that you're not in Portland, but if you were, I'd invite you to come and have some food because it is going to be delicious. But yeah, that is not going to be for months, so we'll find out what's going on later. But there may also be a celebrity name attached to it, and I won't mention who until we're right fucking there. It's Bill Oakley, but I don't know yet. He's expressed interest. It might be cool, but if I can bring the concept of a specific type of taco that, you know, is one of my personal favorites, if I can bring that to the Pacific Northwest, then a certain someone whose name I will only have mentioned once, and you'll have to scroll back if you ever want to hear it again until it actually happens. But he's expressed interest in possibly being the face of it because he is a face of other foods around the area. So it just made sense to me to ask him, and he kind of got me back into streaming and making videos in the first place. So I figured I might as well show my appreciation by including him on the journey if I can. And that will be one small effort that I put in to make that happen. So yeah. So the continuing on with this particular video, I just don't like that anyone would try to recommend to a young chef or a new chef or a just starting out chef or a whatever to not top and tail, as they call it, both sides of the onion, or not top and tail the onion. The reason being because it's really inefficient, and someone's gonna have to teach them the right way because you taught them the wrong way. So it wastes more time, it creates more work for other chefs, and I just don't recommend it. Like, don't recommend things unless you are 100% sure that you would be able to teach it in real life. If you can teach it effectively without looking like you're hacking at weeds. A note about this person's knife's sharpness factor. It's pretty pathetic. The horizontal, but okay. This actually gives me another important thing to say. When you're talking about like sawing through an onion like it shows her doing on the horizontal cuts, the reason this is bad is because she sharpens her knife wrong. How do you sharpen a knife wrong? Well, if you're using a tri-stone setup, I'm going to turn the camera off for one moment. If you're using a tri-stone setup and you're not necessarily educated on how to take care of your knives, cheers by the way. Then you will likely create a more dull edge, or even worse, a specific degree bevel, which if you grind it out, grind it out and the edge is different than how you normally use your knife, you're going to be cutting with a dull blade every time. All right. I said I was going to stop doing that on stream, but only this is just because I had no fucking time to do it when I was setting up. Because the stupid thing wouldn't work for me. The stupid thing wouldn't work. Gosh darn it, isn't that how it always is? Stupid things do not work. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is if you sharpen something so that the angle is like this, but your normal wrist cutting technique has your knife like this, then that bevel's going to be like that, and you're going to be like that, and the bevel's not going to work the right way because you're going to be going on a downward angle when the knife wants you to go like this. It's a small distinction, but you can obviously see the way that she has to saw through that onion. Yet, the horizontal motion of the tip going down, either she doesn't sharpen it consistently the whole way down, or she sharpens it at the wrong angle. I would say, like any non-Japanese knife, if you're sharpening it at any less than a 15-degree angle, you are going to set yourself up for a lot of trouble down the road. And you're going to have to just reburr your knife, which is just taking it to either a belt sander, grinder, or an actual like sharpener, or just really working it on stone. It's really all you can do. But that just tells me don't instruct people. Don't tell people how to do things, especially if your goal is like to be an influencer, to be someone who people go to for advice. Don't give the wrong advice if you're an authority on something. It's bad chess. Is that what they say? Bad pool? Bad pool? What do they say? It's when you're doing something not cool. Bad. Dirty chess? Dirty pool? What the fuck is it called? Dirty pool? Whatever. So yeah, that's not how a professional chef cuts an onion, and I would always recommend that people not listen to people when they say, this is how a professional chef would cut an onion. I'm probably just gonna go and cut an onion and record it, and then that's what I'm gonna show. And the reason why it won't get a lot of views is because it's not really that hard to conceptualize cutting an onion as a beginner chef. You put knife to onion, and if you want to, you can follow some guides on how to cut properly or cut the different types: small dice, large dice, brunoise, bâtonnet. Anything like that, that's fine. But beyond knife to onion, it's really just sensationalism, just trying to get views and clout and shit. So this guy, if he doesn't look familiar, is the private chef in Las Vegas who was talking about, he's the guy that I thought had made up a story about how his friend's kid specifically requested him to be a private chef at his birthday party or something. I was wrong. Obviously, it was the guy who wanted the guy to cook at his son's daughter, whatever, kid's birthday. Yeah, I would love to, and I guess I could, but I think I don't know if I still have mine. But let me look. Yeah, no, if I still had them, you would see why I don't want to demo anything on them. They're supposed to be like flat, but I've used them so much that the coarse one is just concave. So maybe I'll buy a new one and then I can show it off. But so this guy I covered already, because I think that anyone who... It's already a weird look if you're a private chef and you're on YouTube and talking about how to become a successful private chef. It's a little bit of a weird, I guess, self-report. You shouldn't be on YouTube if you're a sexful. Oh my God. You shouldn't be on YouTube if you are a successful private chef, because you're going to be spending most of your time working. Anybody that knows these jobs or knows this industry knows that it's not uncommon for people to work 60 to 80 hours a week, because that's A, what they love doing, but also B, like, it's important. It's a lot of work. It's not something that people just... And I guess maybe this is my biggest nitpick, or the way one can tell whether someone is really a real chef. What is a real chef? Whether they're a real working chef or just saying that they are. A lot of these day in the life of private chef, a lot of these like, oh, I'm a private chef for LA or in LA and we did this thing and yada yada. If you're doing vlogging about being a private chef, you're probably not really a private chef. You probably went to culinary school or and I'm guessing a 16-week program, which a lot of these trade schools do nowadays, called accelerated learning. And chances are you got your degree, you did great in school, and now you have a business, which is fine. But this is more in the cafeteria catering side of things. And when I was coming up in the industry, when I was coming up and I was doing cooking and things like that, it used to be, and not necessarily that we would make fun of, but it used to be that we would kind of look down on the people who did, my thumbnail isn't there. What? You crazy girl. Now, I wonder, does it hold back my broadcast if I don't fill out the, no, it's not made for kids or whatever? I would doubt it, because you gotta do that when you do the VOD anyway, right? Where's my option for thumbnail, you ass butts? Oh, there it is. We're fixing it. We're gonna fix it. Oh my God. It's not bigger than 2 megabytes. Why am I yelling? I don't mean to be yelling. Whatever, I'll fix the thumbnail later.
So yeah, today's video is not about a recipe. It's not about cooking.
he was just talking about how like awesome he is or whatever, and it's not cool. But private chefs, like we used to make fun of hotel and resort cooks and like Disneyland cooks and chain cooks, and there's like a chef hierarchy that exists. It sounds so stupid and so cringe, like when you look back on it. But at the time, there's this like piratical, rebellious, sex, drugs, and rock and roll atmosphere to cooking professionally, and so you kind of you act like a gang. You act like like you see that group of hotel chefs, like those guys can't fucking cook. I bet you anything they can't temp a steak worth their lives. Like it's dumb, but it is engaged in nonetheless. It's that sort of machismo and the atmosphere of being a chef, and so you would make fun of all those kind of the hotels and whatever. The point being that there was a hierarchy that existed, or at least like a tier list, or I don't know, a spectrum, and private chefs were at the very, very, very bottom. We didn't even consider them real chefs, but hotel chefs were at like the bottom of real chefs, and private chefs were even below them. And then I think the worst ones were food stylists, or like what is it called? Like food photographers, but there's another word for it. I can't remember. But yeah, you would be like the kind of person that makes all the fake food that you see in TV, or on TV, that's just like gasoline or motor oil or whatever, and it's like not real. It's all just for production, for selling stuff. So like, not real chefs, also.
For your viewing pleasure. Today's video is actually going to be
intro
answering all of your questions.
Okay, yeah, he's going to answer questions. So the guy with the perfectly manicured beard, I'm guessing that's an iWatch.
Search the YouTube.
Yep, wearing the smartwatch, who gets up and he does his faux hawk. Like I kind of a faux hawk. It was just the top of a mullet that I cut off recently, but oh yeah, he does his little he does that in the morning, before he goes out to do chef stuff. And then he's wearing his clear, you got to wear your branded merch. If you don't have branded merch, can you really call yourself a private chef? We'll see.
Comment section for the most commonly asked questions from you guys. How did you become a personal chef? That's supposedly one of the most commonly asked questions.
So unless he shows these on screen, he made them up.
What's a typical day like for you as a private chef? Because
this is all just for him to chop up into shorts content. I guarantee you. How did you become a personal chef? Nobody ever fucking asks that. Usually, I would say the most common question that I get is, like, do you like guys like Gordon Ramsay? Like, do you think that they're all like full of shit? Like, is that, or what's your favorite thing to cook? Those are the two primary questions that I hear whenever anyone has ever heard, and I don't advertise it in public when I meet people, but if anyone ever hears that I was a chef, my wife actually likes to spring that one when I'm like, we're just chilling, and if they ask me like what I do for a living, I'm like, oh, I sell things every now and again. Like I don't really have like a good job, so I'm trying to find whatever, but I do a lot of stuff on the side. And then my wife will be like, yeah, he used to be a really good chef. And I'm like, no, but I'm not anymore. There you go. And then, yeah, it will always evolve from there. And typically it is, what do you like to cook? And do you believe that all those guys are full of shit? To which I vehemently reply, yes. 99.99999% of them. Unless I'm leading a kitchen, I don't consider myself a chef.
Honestly, the little videos I do where
Or
it's really
teaching.
quick, those short videos, and I'm like, day in the life of a private chef. That's not really my whole day. But I'm going to answer that today. I'm also
So you see what I'm saying? He even addressed it. Like, maybe that's something he's insecure about.
I'm going to answer a couple of other questions that I know a lot of you ask. For instance, questions like, how do you keep things hot when you're working at a dinner party? Well, I'm going to go ahead and answer that now since I'm on the floor, and it more than likely will be like 30 minutes before I'm able to actually
food as a chef?
First, when you get to a dinner party, go ahead and put your oven on 170 degrees. Unless you're going to be cooking, roasting something in the oven when you get there, put it on 170 degrees.
What? You're gonna be using the oven, typically, of anyone that you're. Oh no, he's cooking off site. The fuck are you not using the oven for? Always put it on to warm. Make sure that it's on warm. All right, unless you need to use it, in which case this is completely useless advice.
Now, if you do have something else to keep warm, I have a second way to keep things warm, but we're gonna do it after do this. Turn it on 170 degrees. Open up your oven. Take the item that you're cooking and you want to keep warm. Put it in the oven, like so, and then turn off the heat. That will keep your food warm for a good 20, 30 minutes.
So I think this is just like general advice. Maybe someone's like, how do you keep food warm, like when they're cooking at a dinner party? When I'm cooking at a dinner party, when I've brought my crock that I've had in my oven for the last 12 hours, how do I keep it warm? It's really not. That's not how anyone would do anything. Like, if you are a chef, a personal chef, by the way, I don't know why you'd just turn on the oven to 170. Like, typically you'd have either hot boxes or you would have steam trunk things. Like, basically they're these like polyurethane plastic containers that you've put hotel pans in. And hotel pans, if you don't know what those are, they're basically just like cookie sheets, but they've got really high sides. They are for holding lots of different things, and you can fit different smaller pans into them. They're very modular, very inexpensive, and great for transporting items for catering. There are also these boxes that perfectly fit these hotel pans, which you fill with boiling water. If you are any kind of good, at your job and getting to places promptly, those things can keep your food warm, like spitting warm from the oven, like too hot to handle, that kind of warm, for up to 8 hours, just depending on the makeup of the container you use. There's some expensive ones that are triple walled that'll hold for all day. There's some that are like basically made of paper and don't do much at all. Don't bother her. Come on, she's an old lady. You're too young. You're young. You don't know your own strengths. She's an old lady. She's tired of your bullshit. Go bother the other one. She's still pretty young. Go bother her. She just wants to play with everybody, unfortunately. It's great personality-wise, but it's not so good for the other pups.
Minutes solid.
So, just bad advice. I don't know why he would even include this in the video.
It'll keep it warmer longer, but then it'll start to dry out.
Oh my God,
Make sure you put a little piece of aluminum foil over it. That'll help with the drying out. Now, if this isn't an option for...
All right, no, fuck this guy's advice. If you want to know how to keep food hot, get yourself a nice high-sided pan, whether it's a Dutch oven, a saucepan, whatever you're using. Transport your food in that. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it needs to stay hot. Put it inside this pan. If you need to fit it into a smaller container, if you need to put it into something else, just gather everything with you, but put it into something that has nice high sides and can be wrapped very tightly with one layer of plastic and then one layer of tin foil. If you can, do the entire thing. And I mean the whole thing. Take the pot with whatever it is inside and wrap the entire thing. It's called cater wrapping, actually. It's meant to be done this way. You do it like a spider. You wrap that thing in plastic and then wrap the whole thing in tin foil and then put it into the tightest, most dense outer container that you can. So this is why I'm saying, like, if you have something in a small pot and you have an even larger roasting pan, wrap the pot in tin, then wrap the pan in tin. It will stay hot 12 hours. And I don't mean stay hot like, oh, it'll be lukewarm by the time it comes out. I mean stay hot within the USDA established mother frickin' safe zone temperatures, catering style, fresh from the oven, kind of hot. G, I believe that's how kids talk, right? I think I'm still with it. still with it, hip to the bone, I think.
Or you
I bet you this guy's younger than me and he looks older than me. So I got something going. I got something going for me, all right? I didn't mean to be, that was nasty. There was no reason for that. Maybe I was feeling a little insecure and I wanted to project that. I'm not sure why I decided to be bitchy right there, but gosh darn it.
got something in there roasting or baking, whatever it is that you're doing. Here's the next thing I do. I'm gonna meet you over at the counter.
Does he have problems standing up? And what the fuck is this thing on his hat? Is that his Alexa wearable or some bull? No, don't you fucking do it, bitch. I think we're good. She's about to start the self-destruct sequence. But what is that? What is that? What is that? Why? What is that? Like, I'm wondering if he, like, makes a... Nope, it's not. Okay. I was hoping there was some mention of it.
For the second best way to keep things warm, and probably the best piece of equipment you're going to take that
is he actually going to give a good piece of advice?
An electric skillet.
No,
now I get the large electric skillet because if it's a large party.
Now I don't discount when people just say, "Why don't you just bring your crock pot and plug it in at the party?" That's a really good idea, but just keep in mind that if you're like in the Midwest and you're going to like a potluck, or if you're in the South and you're going to a cookout, they're called distinct things based on region. That's right. I invented that. You gotta anticipate that there might be limited counter space and people might also be bringing shit. So I don't know. I don't think it's that big a deal. Like, you can probably just put whatever you need on the table and keep it warm. Make sure that it gets warm and then turn off the plug or whatever. It's not like you're abiding by USDA food service guidelines in somebody's house. So if there's like a dinner party or whatever, then you know, pick one of those up at the thrift store for like $13 and you get like $150 electric skillet for pennies. You know, it's a good idea, but I still don't like this guy.
It's something that's going to work great because you can put a lot of food in here. It also
the
works
first piece of
great
advice is really
for
bad.
Cooking. Now, if you do take it to a dinner
branding.
party and want to cook with it, this is something I would definitely recommend. Now, when you get to somebody's house that you've never been to and you don't know what to expect, and say, for instance, you get...
When you get to somebody's house with your chakra bracelets and your weirdly tight t-shirt with your dad one pack, getting bitchy again. I'm gonna try to keep the attacks impersonal, but there might be some peppered in. Okay, I can't help it entirely, so I'm gonna try my best. It's the branding, man. If you didn't brand yourself like that, then maybe I wouldn't have a problem with it. Maybe I wouldn't feel so catty. I'm just saying, you know, I can only shrug so high. And what is he about to say? Is he about to say, like, lift their grates and inspect their cooktop to make sure that everything looks hunky-dory because you're a chef and you want everybody to know that you're a chef, other than wearing your culinary misfits hat with your weird shmishmeksh, I said it so that she wouldn't activate, Bluetooth device attached to it.
Somebody's house that you've never been to and you don't know what to expect, and say, for instance, you get something like this where you're going to have a gas flame. Well, this is going to be...
Why are you speaking like this? Is he padding time? When you get to somebody's house that you've never been to and you experience where you've got a situation that there's this gas flame method of heat and it's powered by gas.
Uneven. For instance, if I take the skillet and put it on here, it's going to be uneven. Is that
for that specific one? Sure.
Life-changing? Is that...
But those are meant to go on the counter. Does he think that those go on the cooktop?
Something that's going to make life overall difficult and cooking impossible to.
So you're not supposed to cook with those on a cooktop. What the fuck did he just do? He
You get
thinks
something like this where you're going to have a gas
that when there's
flame.
a grate
well, this is
over
going
a
to be
gas
uneven.
flame.
For instance,
Oh,
if
it's
I
going to be
take
uneven.
the skillet and put it on here,
If I take an electric skillet that plugs into the wall, which heats itself onto this grate,
it's going to be uneven.
it's going to be uneven. It's going to be uneven. It's, you know, you don't want to do that. It's seriously just something that he noticed at the last second, was like, oh yeah, you know, that'd be a good point, but didn't think about it.
something that's going to make life
That's dumb as shit, man.
overall difficult and cooking impossible to do? No. But what can make your life a little bit easier is just simply, maybe not this one because it's heavy, but just finding even like a thin cutting board. For instance,
What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Put it on the counter. That's what it's made for, to be put on the counter. What is... Why? Does he think that people... Oh, you know, I don't want to be rude. I want to make sure that if I bring anything and I got to cook anything in it, that I'm only using the square footage of the cooktop to do it. Because I don't want to offend anyone. I want to make sure that I'm only using that uneven grate that might be there if there's a situation where there's a gas heating element, you know? Like, you got to be real careful about that.
let me use this one instead.
Oh, hang on. I'm demonstrating how to put something onto an uneven grate on a cooktop on a gas stove that won't be turned on because I'm putting something wooden on there, and then I'm gonna make sure to use this electric fucking skillet only in the zone of the cooktop. Why is
You
he
can
spending
take
this
a
time
thin
doing
cutting
this?
board like so, and then put it right on top of here. So that way you have the cutting board when you need it as well, if you have like a sous chef or somebody helping you, but you still have a more stable pan. That's just uneven anyway. You know what I mean? It's gonna stable. There we go.
For what? Why?
About as stable as my life right now.
Why do you need
this
the pan
next
to be
question?
stable?
It sometimes baffles me, but I
cooktop
have to
that it's not
remember that
supposed to be
not
on.
everybody thinks the same. Not everybody sees things as clear as everybody else. For me, because my background's in marketing and sales, I automatically saw how easy it.
And there it is. So, okay. In my experience, I've had a lot of people come through the kitchens that I've worked in who have been what we call career changers. And they're typically older individuals who have backgrounds in usually things like sales or marketing, who got tired of their job and wanted to do something a little more creative and fun, and they get into cooking. Now, some of them don't necessarily decide, well, I'm gonna go and just become a chef. They first think, well, I don't know much about kitchens, like this fucking guy. And they decide, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to like school and I'm gonna work in a bunch of shitty restaurant jobs so that I can get all this experience under my belt. And then maybe I'll decide like kind of what I want to do from there. And they'll take 3 to 5 years and they'll make a great decision, usually whatever benefits them and their family the best. Some of them make shittier decisions like this guy, but I'm guaranteeing you that he just kind of woke up one day and said, I fucking hate my job. I hate my wife. She's always making fun of me. I hate my kids. They're all such smug assholes. I fucking hate everything. God damn it. And then just decided to be a personal chef. Well, you know what I always have loved doing is entertaining. Oh my God. And so then maybe he did like a dinner party once, or he like has a friend who owns a restaurant who like let him kind of look at the line, like, you know, so this is where magic happens, you know. These are my cooks, you know. They're about to get ready for like dinner service, and then like just kind of be like, oh yeah, man, I'm a chef now. Holy shit! Took a picture of himself in the mirror with like a whisk and a chef's knife or like a bread knife or some shit. And now here he is giving people advice on how to become successful personal chefs. Does he mean personal for himself? If so, more power to you. good idea. I don't think so.
It was to promote myself as a personal chef.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
through, well, this.
Yep.
I get so many people
Yep.
ask me, how do you promote yourself? How do you find clients? And I tell them, I was like, literally, it's the
Mm-hmm.
freest tool. Is there a such thing as freest? Let me know in the comments if there's a such word as freest. Is there a
Okay.
freer than
So you don't have enough of a high school education to know whether or not freest is a word, but you're also telling people that they need to more or less just kind of market themselves to be successful or to get clients, which I don't know why I need to say this. I feel like this should be common knowledge, but perhaps it's not. You make the best impact in sales through word of mouth. Return customers are the most impacted by word of mouth. The reason why Yelp was so popular when it was popular is because it gave people online access to word of mouth. What is the number one marketing strategy, Amy? If you're paying attention, see if you can answer this trivia question. What is the number one best way for a business to market? I know there's a delay on the stream, so I don't want to wait too long, but I'll wait. I'll give it some time. That's right, those three magic words. Word of mouth. So I'm going to have to say that where I think he's heading is that you should either buy marketing, which I've tried. You know, I ain't gonna lie, like I have tried many different methods to market both my food businesses as well as my other, like my merch sales businesses and you know, things like that. And just this, really, I haven't paid really for this. I wanted to see what it would be like to pay for what is it, the ad? It's on YouTube. Like it's a feature of YouTube, and if you have something that's doing well, then you can pay to have it like shown to more people in like the ad things. Don't know how it works. I don't know what it impacts over just click-throughs, but I noticed that one of my videos got like 10,000 views, but that really was the only difference. Like it got like 10,000 views. I was like, oh, cool. And that cost me $30. Thanks, YouTube. Not gonna do that again. But so I'm guessing he's gonna say either pay for marketing or to invest heavily, and I mean like time or like energy into marketing, which I couldn't disagree with more. There's actually I'm sure there have been other studies on this, but I just kind of did like my own little armchair study when I was advertising for a pop-up that I was doing. And I did email campaigns, I did social media campaigns, and I did flyering campaigns. And guess which method returned the best results? It's fucking crazy because it like cost, I think, $10 to print out all of the flyers. But dropping flyers at like community events and local businesses, especially cannabis shops, which is how I got my first job at a cannabis shop not too long ago, and then lost that job. But yeah, flyering, crazy. I never would have thought in a million years. But, and I still don't know why I'm yelling, but I'm gonna try not to yell anymore. What? Come on. Oh, by the way, like and subscribe. I know I should have said that way earlier, but I guess, you know, maybe it still helps if I say it in the first hour. I don't know. I'm not an educated man. Well, I guess I am educated, but through the school of hard knocks. All right? Experience. Experiential. Well, I don't know what other form of that word I was going to try and...
most, freer than more, freer than others. regardless.
Oh my God, dude.
Through YouTube and other social media platforms, because I present myself and I show the food that I do. Which brings me to something else. For those who want to reach out and say, hey, I'd love to work with you, I'd love to learn from you,
Call to action for collaborations, which normally I'd be like, yeah, do that, but not for this guy. I mean,
I'll work for free. If I
I
go
think
to
a
your
lot of
Instagram
influencers
or I go
have
to
the
one of
same
your social
mentality.
media platforms and you have 0 pictures or videos of your food, I'm not going to respond to you.
Okay, well, that's just gatekeeping, because a lot of the best chefs in the world don't constantly take pictures of their food or are like constantly networking with YouTube chefs. So it's, I guess, if you're really wanting to become a
Literally is like a
successful
social media
personal
credit
chef,
score. I'll go and
then
say,
sure.
oh, you've got you on the beach and you riding a motorcycle.
there really is.
Want to reach out.
Oh, I'm sorry that a person having a fucking personal life annoys him so much when he's looking for someone to connect with professionally. Go fuck yourself. Like, what? I'm sorry, but if you have like a bunch of pictures of you catching fish and like riding a motorcycle and playing hoops, like, I'm probably not going to want to network with you, okay? Like, we're probably not going to collab well together, okay? I'm all about the culinary misfits, all right? I'm all about the culinary misfits, okay? The culinary misfits. I feel like a bird. I feel like I'm going to fly away.
Out to you and say, this person's got some talent, let's invest my time. So with that being said, you can see that putting yourself on social media is so valuable.
When you set up your business, they always
I think he means at all. No. He doesn't mean at all, because he says if you got pictures of yourself with motorcycles and shit. I don't think that you need to create a specific. Sorry, I've got the burp gases. Gosh darn it. I don't think that you need to create a separate social media profile for you if you're a chef. I don't think you need to create a separate business profile if you're trying to advertise online. I mean, you should, just because it looks better to have a business differentiated from a human being. But in terms of what this guy's saying, with his goddamn fucking cyborg attachment, does he think he's in Star Wars? Like, I don't know. I don't think that you have to be. I guess it's a good. What are you chewing on? Don't eat that. Oh, okay. I thought it was her. She hasn't gone for the other pups' lammies yet, but she has a lamb chop of her own that looks very similar to one of the other ones. This actually brings up a pretty good point about professionalism, and I think that my philosophy on made-up words applies here too. If you want, you can check previous stream for that. Please feel free to do so I get more engagement. Yeah. It is a perception. We made up the word. Professionalism doesn't really exist. I mean, it does, but only in the concept that we designed. So we said that it's professional to work Monday through Friday. People don't really do that too much anymore. Like, they do, but it's not the most common thing anymore. They say it's professional to never talk about wages. That's just propaganda from managers and owners who don't want class wars, basically. And so that's no longer true. Like, the idea of professionalism really is, I think, one could argue, elitist type ideology. Not really an ideology. Professionalism is, it's like, it's an effort by, one could say, elite or gatekeepers to create a different level for themselves above somebody else. Classic examples in the restaurant world are, one of my favorite chefs' taco spots becoming, best restaurant in the world 2 years in a row. you know, tuna poke joints being awarded in the San Pellegrino top 50 restaurants. It's, there's a huge number of variance in what people consider the highest tier of professionalism and quality and the lowest tier of professionalism and quality in the restaurant world alone. The fact that, I mean, it bleeds out to other industries, obviously, but I only know it just because this is what I've been exposed to. But the point is that professionalism is really just a perception by other people on how you conduct yourself within your own, chosen universe. If my universe is cooking professionally, then hey Forrest, what's up? Long time no see, my friend. If I am, wearing a chef coat and I am properly shaven within the USDA guidelines, if I am not wearing any extemporaneous jewelry, or as long as I'm washing my hands and wearing gloves, to me that is the base level of professionalism that I would expect of people working in a kitchen. I think you can go up from there, and I think you can go down from there. And I think that if anyone is going to sit here in judgment of others based on what they think professionalism is, then I think that kind of removes a lot of their credibility. So it kind of just makes me want to take this guy with even less of a grain of salt than I already was. Take that, Mr. Chef Culinary Misfit.
Tell you, you've got to have a good web presence, and it is true. You need to have a good web presence. You need to have a strong website. You got to set up your Bing, your Google, your.
So he's saying like half right stuff. He's saying half truths. You do want to have a basic website for your business, and you do want to have social media. If you choose to have it for yourself, then you can have it for yourself. If you choose to have it professionally, you can have it professionally. Either or nothing if you want. But there is no such thing as like a specific set of circumstances that you have to hit in order to be successful.
Yelp, your TripAdvisor, all of those things to make sure that your presence and easy to be found. But I would give up all of that for a fantastic Instagram page. And I'm about to tell you why. Before I tell you.
And he's on the, I'll leave the captions on so you can actually see what he's saying, but I'm going to talk over him. And he's kind of saying that he's leaning on this whole, like, there's one particular social media that's better than the others, which nobody's been able to determine yet. Like, there's a bunch of assumptions about the algorithms, and there's a bunch of like similar, he's doing a whole fucking sponsorship. Fuck you. Good thing I didn't have the sound on. Fuck that guy. And I lost my goddamn train of thought. Oh my god, I just saw that he was like, see, and then this whole thing, like he's doing this only for like himself. Like it doesn't say advertisement, so he didn't do it through the the AdSense program or whatever. Like, he's not even like, where does this say that he's supported? It just says visit Cafe Casino. Just says subscribe here to Cafe Casino. But where's his disclosure? Where the fuck is your disclosure, you asshole? I think, don't you have to do that? Can I do that? Is that... Whatever. I'm not gonna... That's, like, petty. But I feel like being petty. He's in Vegas. This motherfucker has his own goddamn penthouse. He's in Vegas. He's got a sweet apartment. And he's, like, making probably over $1 million a year doing this. Like, because he's, actively marketing himself. Like, he's like probably at the top level of energy going into his influencerhoodness. Yeah, that's right. I said a word that probably doesn't exist. Because I admit to only having a high school education, college, but associates. What can you learn for an associate's, It's basically trade school anyway. So yeah, don't play this guy's video game. He probably had a hand in the making of the app itself, so he probably gets a percentage, which is why he doesn't have to have a disclosure. Damn. Yeah, he probably helped make the app. This motherfucker. I don't want you full screen.
Post a lot of videos. Next question. How did you become...
Right. You're in a casino, you son of a bitch. How do you get more clients? Well, you got to post a bunch of videos. You know, I sit in casinos all day long giving useless advice to people for how to be successful professional chefs or personal chefs. Totally.
A personal...
Just, I mean, by the way, that's like shitty advice because he could be out networking right now. He could be on his phone looking like at Instagram accounts for local restaurants, unless he's run out of them already. He's done all his networking, or he's got a guy for that.
Chef.
Where's that advice?
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but there's no exciting answer. Like, there's no, like, I went to Europe and decided to travel the countrysides and work in the backyard of Noma. No, I like I said, my background's in sales and marketing. I grew up in the restaurant industry. My mom worked as a waitress, a bartender. She actually owned a couple of restaurants. So I've worked everywhere from the dish pit all the way up to waiting tables. Now I've worked in the salad.
That is the same bullshit that everyone says when they're like pretending to be a chef. Oh yeah, you know, I worked up into the dish pit and worked my way up to waiting tables, and you know, it's just grew up in the industry. That's not a thing. You don't go from dishwashing to waiting tables. You're either a dishwasher and then you spend a couple years as a dishwasher and then you go somewhere else, or if you're promoted to something else like prep chef or something like that. You don't, like, it's a weird crossover. Like, a lot of people who don't work in restaurants think that restaurants are all just one group of people, that they're not like divided into separate parts of the house, and it shows when they say stupid shit like this or make shit up, I guess.
For a personal chef, a friend of mine came up to me and said, "Hey, my boss is coming over for dinner."
I fucking knew it. I knew it. And I fucking called it. He just got invited to cook for some big wig, and the guy was like, "Oh, this is really good. You should sell this. Do you hire your services out?" Guarantee.
I don't want to cook. I said I would have you come over and cook for me since you're the only friend I know that can actually cook. So I did that. I went to his house. I cooked a little 3-course meal. His boss loved it.
And got swept up in all the hype about, you know, oh, this is what Bobby Flay does, man. Like, this is what Guy Fieri does. This is what Gordon Ramsay does. Like, I could do that. This guy's saying that I could do that. Holy shit, I'm gonna do that.
Came into the kitchen while I was cleaning up and said, "Hey, what are you doing next Saturday? I've got a dinner for 20 down in Houston if you can make it." At the time, I wasn't working. I was like, "All right, yeah, sure, I can do it. Do you have a card?" I didn't bring any on me. He's like, "Yeah, just email me." So we emailed back and forth, got the menu set up. It was like it was basically...
Gosh, you know, it's almost like if you can have the you know, established wealth to put you in a position where you might engender some return business from a wealthy client, it's going to be easy to do that. It's almost like you don't even need to network at all. It's almost like you just have to be rich or well off enough to put yourself in the right position at the right time. Maybe have a friend who's equally wealthy and well off who is needing dinner for their boss while they're pitching a fucking app to them about, what is it? Cafe Casino. About a cafe casino. Now I know that that's him because of the name of the fucking thing, and he thinks he's like a goddamn casino personal chef. This just goes deeper and deeper.
Basically an in-home steakhouse experience, so pretty easy, right? Some mashed potatoes. I think we did some roasted asparagus, different cuts of steak.
Oh, meaning that he doesn't actually know how to cook.
Did out on the grill. I got 2 friends of mine that worked in the restaurant industry to come work for me, that they were cooks.
Oh, so he didn't know how to cook because that's the menu he decided on, and then he's like, I don't actually know how to cook any of this shit. And so then he's like, "Hey, do you know anyone who cooks for a living?" Yeah, I might know someone who knows someone who knows someone. And then he like goes and says, "Oh, I'll give you guys like minimum wage for this thing that he's probably getting like thousands of dollars for."
They cooked. I ran the show up front.
Oh, up front.
15 years later, I'm still doing.
He ran the show up front. So this guy, who has no background in any kind of restaurants whatsoever, because he clearly doesn't know how they work, hired people to do the job for him. And that's how he built his business. So if again, the question was, how do you become a personal chef? His answer that we now have determined is hire people to do it. Put yourself, have a lot of money saved up so that you can take a few years off from your career, then decide that you want to change careers, decide all of a sudden that you want to cook, and then hire people to make that happen. There's a business. You created a business. Congratulations. Cash the checks and post incessant videos on YouTube that have almost 10 minutes of no advice in a video that says, what does it take to become a personal chef? The breakdown, the sum up, if you weren't paying attention, is that you just have to be able to put yourself in the right place at the right time and have enough money to do so. And all you have to do to make it work is hire people to do the things that you don't know how to do, which is everything so far. And then eventually, 15 years later, you can sell your fucking mobile game, as a personal chef who's not struggling, even though he looks on the edge of tears.
Doing it because the people at that party would call me up and say, "Hey, we loved what you did. Will you come back next week and do another party for us?"
It should have been the cooks that have the catering company.
15 years later, I'm still getting those requests, but in Las Vegas, which is kind of cool. I hope that was a little bit interesting.
I don't know if you've ever talked to any chef or cook who lives in Vegas, but that's where cooks go to die. That is where you go, and as an eater, oh fuck yeah, you want to go to Vegas. As an eater, like, Vegas is like the best eating town, like, bar none in the U.S. aside from New York or San Francisco. I would put Vegas above those, because if you want density of high quality food, bam, you're talking about Vegas. However, I would never aspire to cook in Vegas. That is something that a weirdo would do. Like a weird, like, I mean, bodies in the basement, teeth adorning his lampshade, human skin, carpets, the whole 9 yards. That's the kind of weird that you need to be in order to want to go cook in Vegas. So I don't know what's going on in his life, but I don't, maybe I'm about as good a judge of character as I thought I was, which is not really news, but it's still fun to think about.
Because I know that some people are like, "Oh, what's your story of becoming a private chef?" And I'm like,
Nobody ever asks people that. They don't ever ask, "Well, how'd you become a chef?" Maybe I've gotten that question like once or twice from other chefs, but I don't think anyone has ever. The only two questions that I ever hear whenever anyone finds out that I ever cooked is, who's full of shit? Are the Ramsay guy full of shit? Is that Bobby Flay full of shit? Who's full of shit? And what do you like to cook? Which is one of, I would say that it's a trope. It's like a meme. Like, chefs typically don't like to be. It's a meme that chefs don't like to be asked that. I don't mind, but it's a meme, and it's because, like, the zeitgeist is that it's really frustrating to try and think of the thing you like cooking the most. I think I've answered that question enough times to kind of have narrowed it down now, so I can give like a little list of things. But a lot of chefs, like, it calls up so much information to the front of your brain that it's like overload. It's like asking you what your favorite type of pizza is if you like most pizza, like, if the only thing you don't like is olives on something, then you're gonna like most different types of pizza. So it's like someone saying, like, what's your favorite type of pizza? You're like, oh man, oh god, I just like everything about it so much. Pepperoni, pineapple, meatloaf, bacon. What else is weird on a pizza? Meatloaf is a good one. Because people say pineapple, whatever. There's like a split camp on that. I could care less. I don't necessarily like or hate pineapple. If it's with something that's good, then sure, whatever. I'm gonna get some more water. I will BRB. I heard somebody talking. Weird. It was people like, man, my sense of hearing is like superhuman. I heard someone from all the way in the other property out back. Crazy. There is no outback. I live in a city, so it's outback meaning like 50 feet to my left, so it ain't that crazy. So yeah, nobody ever asked that. What's your story? What's your story becoming a personal chef? Oh, I want to know it so bad. What's your story?
It just happened. Never planned it. Okay, wait.
And that's why nobody ever asked that, because
bit.
it's usually something as boring as
After that
anyone can
steakhouse
just
dinner,
infer.
The client walked up to me, handed me a check. Said, "Thank you very much." I folded it up, put it in my pocket, because you don't look at money when people give it to you, right?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You want to make sure that you got the right amount. I would always encourage using something like Cash App or Square, or I mean, there's all kinds of, and he just posted this, I'm pretty sure, March 4th. Yeah, just posted it. So he has access to all those things if he is as successful a personal chef as he says he is. But wait, you got to visit Cafe Casino in order to learn the secrets of becoming a successful personal chef. This is just the fluff. You see, this is the mask that he's giving, you know?
So I folded it up in my pocket. Got to the car. There was like 30% more to that bill.
Well, yeah, he said this was the 15 years ago or whatever, which even then, like, I think, what was it, Square existed back then. 15 years? What was 15 years? 15 years was 2010? There was definitely, I think, card to phone method payments back then, pretty sure. Is my short math off? Because I'm bad at counting. I'm not that bad at counting. Anyway, point is, yeah, I think he's about to say that he got tipped 30%, which is funny. It's hilarious. Which, again, totally made up. Rich people stay rich by not giving away money. So the tales of, you know, the kind stranger, if he was giving away money, he wasn't doing it for that guy. He wasn't doing it for the greater good. He was doing it for some kind of advantage to himself. I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth, though. If somebody wants to give me $1 million, I'll totally take it.
Because of gratuity. I never even thought about the gratuity side of it. And then I saw...
You never thought you'd get tipped? I'm sorry. What pickle barrel did you just roll out of? You never thought you'd get tipped for your work as a service industry member? What? What? Sir,
that check and
I
thought...
have to ask you to put the whisk down.
I can do this.
Please,
let me look
put
more
the
into this
whisk
personal chef thing. And the ladies
down.
that were at the party had already said, we want you to come back next week. So I was like, I better do like a
Oh,
crash
the
course
ladies.
in trying to figure this out.
Oh, yeah.
Because I quickly
you gotta
found
make
out
sure
there was
that you
nobody
do what
out
the
there at the time.
ladies want. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. It's called dinner party syndrome. Last week I incorrectly called it manager syndrome. Manager syndrome is actually a good thing. It's when you like are just too bogged down with stuff that you have to handle as a manager, and you just try to take a break and go like to the dish pit to wash dishes or something for like half an hour just to clear your head. Manager syndrome's good. Dinner party syndrome, however, is not. Dinner party syndrome is when exactly what this guy is discussing, exactly it, beat for beat. It's when, much like the bad auditions on America's Got Talent and the American Idol and stuff like that, just like all those bad ones that are all like, oh, I'm the next best singer, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna win it all, like, and actually think that, and they're not just like the paid, you know, actors. It's because nobody ever told them that what they were doing was bad. It's people like they thought, oh, you know, if we let this person down, we're gonna let them down, and they're gonna like hate themselves, or they're gonna kill themselves, or they're gonna like get, or I'm sorry, you have to say unalive on YouTube, whatever. You know, there's gonna be some kind of repercussions for trying to be what you would argue is honest, but maybe they might feel is brutally honest about someone's capability, and yeah, it's bad. You should be honest with people. But so you get swept up, and you think that there is some potential for fame or money or whatever you covet, whatever you're coveting at the time, whatever your particular poison may be, and you think to yourself, all right, I'm going to get into it because there could really be something to this. And I have fallen victim to it for a lot of different things. Cooking was never one of them. It just happened to be something that I fell into and happened to be the only thing I was ever actually pretty good at. So, yeah, he got swept up. He was probably even still like a marketer advertiser up to this point, and was like trying to decide like what he wanted to do with his second half, you know, like I'm working at a startup, I'm making 175 cool a year, I got a house that's all paid off, I got a kid who's in college and another one on the way with my new young girlfriend after I left my wife, and then got a muscle car, started lifting weights, but I do it wrong, I don't keep my core engaged because I never worked out before I turned 40. And now I've got a beer gut keg that is probably pretty strong, but still looks really weird in an unnecessarily tight shirt. What else? And then he decided that since some ladies liked his food, and his boss or his friend's boss liked his food, that maybe there's something there. Maybe he's going to make a career out of it. But he doesn't want to work. So you gotta hire out those cooking positions, okay? Make sure that you never pay him more than minimum wage. And make sure that if you can, you get undocumented so that you can pay him even less. Preferably under the table, tax-free. Because that's the American way. Etc.
That even knew what a personal chef was. Now, everybody and their mother on social media thinks they're a personal chef. And it's
and this is the other reason for him creating this, is because he wants to, you know, I want to give a little bit of an announcement to all the people out there who think they might be personal chefs, all right? First, you're not a personal chef unless you're me. Second, you're not a personal chef unless you're me and you've followed my own advice on how to be a personal chef, which I'm putting in the rest of this video. Congratulations and enjoy. Please play my video game. Please play my mobile video game. Cafe Casino. It's about a cafe casino. Please like me.
so flooded. And I feel like it's starting to get diluted to where it's not like,
oh,
I don't know. It's just, it's an interesting place that this industry is in.
So, you know what? I'm going to leave this shitty take as his last one. I'll move on to the next video after this because, oh, you know what? Oh, no, he says culinary school isn't worth it. Okay, no. We're going to stick with this one for a bit. I'm getting a lot of good juice. A lot of good juice from this squeeze. There is no such thing as a zero-sum chef. There is no such thing as a zero-sum restaurant. There is never such a thing as a zero-sum food concept, because you can literally fucking grow food out of the ground. You will always need food to eat, and you won't necessarily always eat at the same place if you can afford to eat out in general. So, if you're a chef and you're trying to gatekeep other people being chefs, or you're trying to gatekeep parts of the industry, then you're just a shitty person in general. You're just like the worst fucking kind of person. And I wouldn't have a problem telling this guy to his face that he is, by saying something like this, the worst fucking kind of person when it comes to like sales and you know, developing business, because you're trying to create an atmosphere of rivalry where there doesn't need to be one. Even if you have two competing same concepts, it's still not a zero-sum game. You're gonna eventually want to try the other burger from that other place, and if that burger is better than the one you just had, you're probably gonna prefer that one. And so if anything, competition makes business successful, because it means that you have to try harder, and it means that you have to either step it up, you have to use smarter marketing strategies, like not posting on social media all the time when it has nothing to do with what you're doing. You know, like, you know, looking at your turnover, looking at your staff, looking at what, like doing surveys for you would not believe. So I do a little bit of consulting. If you have a business and you need to know how to make that business successful, I can actually show you on paper with like numbers and stuff, not like in a video like this guy's doing. But in my consulting that I've done for restaurants, a lot of people say that they, oh no, this is such a good point. Most businesses don't have business plans, which is so annoying to me. But what was I just saying? I just said something about... Oh, Amy, help me refresh my memory if you can. Damn it. Yeah, no, I lost the train of thought. It's just something that he said, and then I kind of like picked up on it, and then I lost the thread. That's my ADHD right there. No, I'll talk about school in a second, because he's going to talk about whether or not it's worth it. I'll go back and when I'm editing the video, and I'll put like a little post-editing interjection in there. It was a good point, and I wanted to make it, but it's not going to do any of us any good for me to just sit here and rack my brain.
With that being said, when I opened up the check when I got in the car, I said,
just a moment.
I'm going to figure out how to do this, because it was a good amount of money, and I was like, I can do this. So I found a job waiting tables again, signed up for culinary school.
Oh, you messed up.
They filled our heads full of promises that would never come true. The institution itself ended up closing because they fed us a line of BS.
Oh, he went to the Academy of Arts. I already know this story. So I do remember what I was going to talk about. It's gatekeeping and zero sum, and like competition is a good thing, and I know that it scares a lot of people to potentially lose their business, but if you weren't meant to own that business, then it will fail, because either you didn't know enough, or because you couldn't do enough, or because of, you know, whatever other reasons surround failure. It's just, that's part of life, just like death is part of life. It's the same thing, and we have to just accept that, you know, sometimes things might not work out the way that we want them to, and sometimes our businesses might fail, but the businesses that our failure creates can potentially be better if we set things up for them to do so. Give me one moment. Cheers. So yeah, to sum it up, anyone that tries to gatekeep any kind of industry that is self-sustaining is only doing it for their own ends, whether that be to segregate a portion of the community so that they can exploit it, or because they think that they're better than other people, their peers, the people that have saturated the market, like he said. Just you don't have to be a shitty person, you know? My dude. Eric, I believe your name is Eric. And we're back. All right, I'll let this play for a bit.
That being said, when I opened up the check when I got in the car, I said, I'm going to figure out how to do this, because it was a good amount of money, and I was like, I can do this. So I found it.
So he told on himself a few times there. He said that he had waited tables for a short time, when before he said that he did worked his way up from a dishwasher to waiting tables, and that it was the classic story. But then here in this, he also went to school and hated his experience in school. That's a different story, but he has already lied in this video about his own history twice. And he said that he, had worked in restaurants when he went to go cook for his friend's boss, but his friend's boss, like he said, like, oh, here's 30% gratuity, and the guy was like, I gotta figure out how to do this for real. And then in the very next event that he did, he hired cooks to cook for him. So all of this is saying that he hasn't been a chef a day in his life. This is actually very similar, very, very similar. It's almost as if he looked at the Wikipedia page and then decided to craft his background resembling Guy Fieri, who also, consequently, has never spent a professional day as a chef in a kitchen in his life. Let me repeat that. Guy Fieri has never spent one professional day as a chef in a kitchen in his entire life. He went to school for hospitality, which is front of the house stuff, waiting tables and doing catering captain and whatnot. A lot of people would say that, that kind of makes him a chef because he was telling other people what to do, but nah, son. He went to UNLV, which does not have a robust culinary program, so you don't have to have a minimum of any kind of culinary school before you learn how to run hotels, which was what he then spent the next 3 or 4 years doing before he got his first gig on television. Went straight from college to television after being a banquet captain. And then he was one step before television. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. He went and started a business first. He hit up his grandparents for about $1.5 million and started the restaurant Johnny Garlic's with a guy that he had worked with as a banquet captain in the hotel that his parents owned. I think it's either his parents or his grandparents owned the hotel. So his entire life has been nepotism. He was in the right place at the right time. Is this feeling suspiciously similar? UNLV? Las Vegas? Feeling suspiciously similar?
Job waiting tables, again, signed up for culinary school. They filled our heads full of promises that would never come true. The institution itself ended up closing because they fed us a line of BS.
And then he's bitter that... Stop going full screen.
And it caught up.
And then he's bitter that someone here scammed him out of money when he's doing the same thing to all his clients. To their faces.
Stuff you're probably never even going to do when you get to a restaurant until they're ready to show you their way of doing it. And they may like that you're fresh out of culinary school and you're like, I'm a chef, and they're going to laugh at you and they're going to put you in the dish.
Wait, hang on.
Guys, it's not worth it. Go work in a
Started
restaurant.
this point way earlier than
the institution itself ended up closing because they fed us a line of BS.
Oh, because he led
and
right
it
in.
caught up to them. So I tell people all the time, culinary school is not worth it. You want to do it the right way? Go work in the restaurant industry. Somebody will hire you. You aren't.
Which is almost word for word how Bourdain wrote it. It's almost word for word how Bourdain said it, and it's the most popular leading methodology of maybe 20 or 30 years ago, but that is no longer the case. There are way more comprehensive programs in colleges that are for culinary, skills that these guys don't know about, because they only know about their like limited hospitality experience, and they attribute everything else to like the movie Waiting, or whatever they saw in Restaurant Nightmares, or like they're not. It's all flash, no substance. It's a hollow thing. They don't know the insides of everything, but they know the sweet candy outer shell. But they don't know anything of the creamy goo lying beneath of the restaurant industry, if I'm not clear.
We're going to get into like a 5-star restaurant right away.
Now that's also just fucking incorrect. That is just some bullshit. If someone was to ask me, should I go to culinary school? I would say, do you want to go to culinary school? And if they were like, yeah, I'd be like, do you have the money? And if they were like, no, I'd be like, do you have like a job that could pay you the money? And if they were like, yeah, then I'd be like, okay, sounds like you want to go to culinary school. And if they were to ask me, is it worth it? I would say, depends on what you get out of it. If you go in there every day and you're like, dead set on learning, then yeah, you're probably going to get your money's worth, because you're going to get a better job like right out of school. Like that's just kind of how things work. But it's folly, and it's gosh darn irresponsible of an old man who didn't go to culinary school. He took an 8-week course. Who wears a backwards baseball cap at this age, with a too tight shirt with a dad gut, claiming to be a culinary misfit. What the fuck are you in exile from? Which kitchen? Which organized group has ousted you? Polite society? Moral people? Who did it? Who kicked him out? I want to hear from him. But that's just wrong. If you are in the position to go to school, go to school. If you think you're going to get something out of it, if you think that working in restaurants is going to be a better way to learn, as I find worked for me better than learning from books, or learning in a very isolated, kitchen that was well stocked and that where there's no stress or anything like that. I learned much better under fire. That tickles my ADHD nerve endings, so that's just what I gravitated towards. But you absolutely can get into if you do decide that going into a kitchen is the right route for you, you can absolutely get into a 5-star kitchen. Who the fuck knows what a 5-star kitchen is in terms of this guy's tier list, because that's not a thing really. I'm sure there's some local papers that might award stars, but it's really just write-ups and Michelin stars that are really like important in the top level of cooking performance. So again, I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe it's specific to Las Vegas, but you can get into 5-star restaurants, especially, and I would never recommend this, but especially if you're willing to work for free. If you're willing to go and just like prep veggies and like absorb, and you say like, can I do a stage, can I do a trail or whatever, and you offer to work for free, a lot of them might decline. But if you are persistent and you keep asking, then potentially they might say yes, and they might even pay you. But for the most part, chefs don't like to exploit people. So it's like there's a cricket in the song, and the song's very loud too. This is not a music stream, gosh darn it. Oh, I have like that, like build up like in your sinuses. Like I had like this is not a music stream, god damn it. I had one of those little like nasal blockages. Crazy.
But you're gonna get in somewhere. Start off in the dish pit, work your way into it, and it's gonna be good.
And he didn't even He just described the only part of his own background that he's made up. And he may be caught that he like isn't supposed to say to working tables because that has nothing to do with cooking. And like at the last minute was like, oh, you know, you work your way up from that and it's gonna be good.
And since we're on the topic of
Nothing
restaurants
else.
and stuff
That's
like that,
it.
I feel like this
That's
would
the
be
advice.
a good opportunity to talk about things like culinary school. Guys, it's not worth it. Go work in
okay,
a
now he's talking
restaurant.
about culinary
Get your
school again.
experience that way. Somebody somewhere.
So
will
he
hire-
had his script he was working off of, but he got ahead of himself. So he's caught up. We're caught
I
up.
promise you, they need people in restaurants so bad these days, and they're willing to train people. If you go to culinary school, the only thing they're going to teach you is the fundamentals and foundations of cooking, how to hold a knife properly.
Which, if you don't know already, is pretty valuable advice. Are all of his videos in a fucking hotel? Or a casino? Private life, or private chef life in Las Vegas, it's not what you'd expect. It's better.
Properly, how to sear and saute, and what the definitions are, and to do P&Ls.
Yep.
And most of that stuff you're
No,
probably
not-
never even
well,
going to do
kinda.
when you get to a restaurant until they're ready to show you their way of doing it. And they may like that you're fresh out of culinary.
I mean, sure, fine. Like, yeah, everybody's gonna have their own way of doing something. And if you are coming out of culinary school, the way he's about to describe, like, oh, I'm a chef, blah, 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 then they may look down on that, sure. But it gives them an opportunity to fulfill their blatantly, sometimes, I would say, classically homoerotic machismo on each other and the new chef that they're hazing, but also it gives them an opportunity to learn a bit more about each other and each other's bodies. Because isn't that what being a chef is all about? I think we got off track there for a second.
School, and you're like, I'm a chef, and they're going to laugh at you, and they're going to put you in the dish
okay.
pit, and they're going to watch you cry and probably quit within the first.
Well, no. You don't hire cooks for the dish pit. That is not a thing. That hasn't been a thing really ever. Dishwashers can get promoted up, but you don't get hired as a cook and then thrown into the dish pit. Unless it's like maybe a 2-person staff, like if it's just the chef and you, and it's like a family-owned restaurant or something, that just would never happen. Like, there's very few positions that one would apply to that are combo dishwasher chef or cook, whatever. It's not really a thing. Somebody who worked in the restaurant industry for any length of time should probably know. Just saying.
Week. True story. If you want to go to.
Is he saying that happened to him? Maybe at his family's restaurant? Because he said his mom owned restaurants, so maybe like he was so bad at it when he was learning that they were like, you might be better in the dish pit. And then they were like, hey, if you want to wait some tables? Right before he went to like college to learn like hospitality or whatever.
Culinary school, you really want to go to culinary school, all you need to do is go to a community college. That community college is going to teach you the foundations and all the basics that you need to know to give you a good start into the culinary world. And a lot of times culinary school people will tell you, you should already have a good understanding of most techniques in cooking. That's why I say go to the community college. You're just going to learn the same foundations there. Okay? And since
Oh God, and then you just take so much time to just fluff this out. I don't know. Giving and exposing, don't know what that is, don't want to know. Kleenexes, don't know why. Equipment I use, don't care.
My name is Jacob Burt.
Okay, so this was going to be the one that I wanted to take a look at. I mean, I'm already 2 hours in, and I thought I was going to play some video games today, but I'm actually having fun doing this. Though, I don't know if I want to sit through another very long video with very shallow substance. Oh dear God. Well, let's give this guy a chance.
So one day, I'm at home, it's my day off, and I'm watching the Food Network. And they got someone making a coconut macaroon. And they're like, oh yeah, it's real easy. It's mixed together, you fold the ingredients, you mold it, you put it on the little pan, you press the bake button, 15 minutes later, it's all good, right? And they show you the money shot at the end where they break open the coconut macaroni.
right.
You're like, oh, that looks awesome. Yeah, great. I can do that.
Come on.
So I go online.
I don't think that he needed to say the words money shot. I'm pretty sure that's been co-opted by a very specific part of the community. So maybe not, you know, not a good term to use for now. For now, just, I mean, this was 6 years ago, so even worse time to say that.
I go to the website where, you know, they refer you at the end of the show. Like, go to this website, check this out, you know, make this recipe. So I make it.
Why is
It comes out horrible. It's disgusting. I'm like,
facial hair, his shave is
man,
very
like, you know,
well manicured.
I missed something.
That is a
I don't bake
close
that
shave.
much. I screwed up the recipe.
It's like
Okay.
a laser, like a
So I
laser
make it
hair
again.
removal. It's like a tortoise.
And then the second time it doesn't come out. I'm like, oh. Okay, so I'm gonna make it one more time. So I make it a third time. Third
like
time
he
I
put
follow
a
the
beard
recipe to
on.
the T.
Or it's like you
Double
put a
check
goatee
everything.
on
I mean,
and,
literally,
like,
it
drew
took me
on
about 30 minutes just to mix the ingredients because I was double checking everything, right?
Oh, his
Third
eyelashes
time was
too.
awful.
He's just a well manicured guy.
And I
I mean, that's
remember
great. You do you,
the
bro.
rage that I felt. I mean, I was in a rage. I felt betrayed. They gave me a bum recipe, right? I wasted half of a day trying to make coconut macaroons, which by the first question that you're going to ask yourself when you're walking down the road of creating a new dish. What will I be
I don't think
cooking?
I'm gonna want to sit for this guy.
And it comes from aroma, about
Yeah, no,
70 to.
he's just laying out the
thought ever
basic building blocks of flavor, which is fine. Good knowledge for anyone, but that's why I didn't like school. I don't like to hear just people talking about
Your mind that you might want to be a
really,
chef.
like
In this video, I give you
stuff
5
that I
reasons
like to find out
why you definitely
on my
should.
own. I don't know. It's got a weird. That's loud.
Hey guys, Sam from Sam Can Chef here today. I'll be giving you 5 reasons you should become a chef. Number
Very
1,
loud.
you hate your friends and or family. Chefs work a tremendous number of hours. A 40-hour work week just isn't
Well, it's
realistic.
not necessarily
12
hate.
to 15-hour shifts are really the norm for salaried chefs. And
It's
almost
just if
every
you're a
hourly
miser-
cook I've ever met has at least
If you're a miser and you don't necessarily like to do anything, then it's good to be a chef. You don't have to hate anyone. You just have to either hate yourself enough to isolate yourself, or hate the world enough to not really care that the people you love are in it, and you just want to be isolated. You know, it's really a xenophobic. I think it's xenophobic personality type. Let's just breeze through these. Don't like taking vacations. True. Masochist. I mean, I guess, unless you just really love to cook, which a lot of people do, which is totally understandable for them to go into the restaurant industry. Nothing more to say on that. You have to challenge yourself with narcissism. Yeah. You don't love to, but that's the result. Not interested in being financially compensated. Sure. I mean,
first,
like tropes, you know, everyone observes those things about the industry.
I don't think people really know how kitchens are run. But yeah, there's always a misconception that people are being screamed at, people are getting overworked. People's vision might be slightly skewed on how kitchens are run because they might only see a series like The Bear.
I'm gonna talk to Mark. Fuck off my head!
Yeah, it keeps the Gordon Ramsay effect has been extremely viral and successful, and production companies just keep making stuff that adheres to that type of thing. It's the high tension that people really like. But it isn't always the case. And most kitchens, actually in the most top level of kitchens, are often silent, and not because there's like a silence policy or anything, but because they're so disciplined and so good at what they do that they don't need to say anything. They just know what's coming. And like the chef will either start a timer or say, you know, the next dish, and they just go to work. And it's just so well executed that you don't need to scream or anything.
Bullshit now! That's not how it is at all. Go 29 and go 112. Thank you, buddy. Hi, my name is AJ Shahata, and I'm a junior sous chef at Fellow Restaurant. I started at Fellow Restaurant 2.5 years ago now.
So
As a
I was
comic,
actually
pretty
kind of
much. I
hoping
had
that this
no
would be
chef experience in my life. I left in 9 to 5.
I was kind of hoping that these would be shitty takes, but they're not. This is a good take, and so that's not in keeping with what not in keeping with what I'm looking for. It looks like a good video, though. I might actually watch it at a later date.
Hello everyone. Listen, if you can tell by the thumbnail, I'm going to get right into it. To paint a picture, you're 16, 17 years old, you're in high school,
16,
and you want to become a
17.
chef.
I'm in high
now,
school, I wanna become a
my
chef.
number one recommendation is to start working in a restaurant. Okay, any level. Food runner,
not going with the
busboy,
school
prep
thing.
cook,
I'm in high school,
dishwasher.
so
These
start
are all
working right.
entry level positions. It'll be very easy for you
Don't
to get
know
your
I'm
foot in
doing
the
finger
door.
guns.
Now let me explain why. I think what's really important is I see it all the time, and not so much anymore, but you know, a lot of people.
Oh, that was
look
like a
at
microphone
what happens
that
on
that dude-
Instagram.
So that douchebag, this is a microphone. That douchebag was wearing a microphone on his fucking hat. Just makes me dislike him all the more. Don't like that's like putting your sunglasses like on the back, like if you do this thing and like you like this thing like a guy named Cater would do, or like a guy named Caden or Schrader or Duder or something, then you like put your glasses on the back like the upside down, you know. That's like that for a microphone. Don't be a douchebag. Don't put it on your hat. Your hat belongs on your head. Nothing belongs on your hat. That's a hat on a hat. And haberdashers do not like that.
What happens on YouTube, and they see these food creators, you know, and they want to become a chef. But what they realize is that has nothing to do with the chef world. Now, if your goal is to be a YouTuber or a social media star, then or a
Nothing
food
that is on
blogger,
YouTube
then
is
don't even waste your
being a
time.
good chef
Just
is.
focus on that,
True.
and you can learn off YouTube and everybody else that's creating content. That's more of an influencer role. But here's the thing: if you actually want to be a chef and own your own restaurant one day, or work for a hotel, or work for a celebrity chef,
I don't like
or
how
run
he's, like,
restaurants, then you need
so
to
close
go
to the
work in a
camera.
restaurant
It
first.
feels
It's my
like
number
he's
one suggestion. I know
staring
it's
into my
not
soul.
everybody wants to hear
And
that, but
this
it's,
is
it's,
one of the
it's
reasons-
the truth. You will find out within a couple weeks whether you really want to work in the restaurant
That's
business or
true.
not. And here's the thing, you know, it doesn't matter what position you start at, okay? Because if you have zero experience, it's going to be very difficult for you to get a job in the kitchen, guarantee it. So everybody usually starts at a food runner, busboy, front of the house first, or prep.
Nah, I mean that's not a thing. Also, you wouldn't start in front of the house if you wanted to be back of the house. Like that places just don't like that. Like there's an us versus them mentality in every single restaurant. I know that it's not in every single, but the majority of restaurants have us versus them mentalities in the front of the house, back of the house dynamic. It's just a thing. It sucks and it shouldn't happen, but that is just kind of how it is at, you know, most restaurants. It's an okay thing. It's all right. Ain't no thing. I said that twice, probably. I think so. Yeah.
$100,000 to go to a culinary school. 1. You get access to ingredients.
So-
Here are 5.
On the other end of the spectrum is when you're essentially advertising for a school. I don't know. I know enough about the CIA, the process, because I went to a bunch of different schools. Like I actually, they used to treat them like colleges. You know, there's the CIA, the CCA, then there was there's that one in Texas, and then Academy of Arts came and just bought them all up. Academy of Arts? Yeah, Academy of Arts just bought them all up and ran their reputation into the ground. And so now my degree is worthless. But I mean, I guess it is a really expensive tuition, and I guess they give you La Crusade as a gift, which boggles my mind because
5 reasons why it is worth paying $100,000 to go to a culinary school. 1. You get access to ingredients of the best quality. 2. Networking with future chefs of the world. 3. Learning how to cook French, Spanish, American, and even Asian food. 4. Getting free caviar and complimentary wine tasting. Last but not least,
like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that would make it worth paying $100K if you're a tourist. I don't. This is for like rich kids who just. I think it's just networking, you know, like go do the college thing, you know, get into trouble, sow your wild oats, and then like have a bunch of people in your contact list that you can hit up for jobs. That's what like a lot of rich colleges are for anyway, so it makes sense. But yeah, if you can afford it. So, private chef in the Hamptons. Private chef in the Hamptons. Okay, so we've moved up from Las Vegas.
In my life as a private chef in the Hamptons, my hand was still sore from burning it last night, so I did a little one-handed skincare routine.
You gotta do the one-handed skincare routine because you burnt your hand last night. Yep, I understand.
It's gorgeous out. I made
At
gluten-free
6:45
oatmeal
a.m.
pancakes for breakfast. Then I ran.
Yep, and then you take your time and make oatmeal pancakes from scratch in how long? What time did you say
Out. I made gluten-free oatmeal pancakes for breakfast. Then I ran some errands, went to a few different grocery stores to get what I needed for the day. Did a little outfit change and harvested some tarragon.
So you cooked an entire breakfast, went grocery shopping, had time to change your outfit, harvested herbs, made and cooked the gluten-free oatmeal pancakes. So she's like you, Amy. She's personal chef for her family. This is not someone who's working
on kale and lettuce from the garden. I feel like everything is growing faster than we can eat it already. Then I got started.
This is just for her family.
On lunch, I made one of my favorite summertime dishes, grilled oysters with the herb butter I made the day before. Then I made lobster rolls, a kale and halloumi salad, and some hot.
And then all the same shit that you'd find in every single mass-produced cookbook that you could ever look at in a thrift store cookbook aisle.
Dogs for the kids. Then I cleaned the kitchen, took a...
And how much are you charging for these hot dogs for the kids? So she's a babysitter, so she's an au pair.
Quick break and chugged a Celsius and got started on dinner.
Oh, sponsored by Celsius! Buy Celsius through my affiliate link.
I saw this avocado trick on TikTok for making guacamole, and I definitely recommend.
Oh, you guys check out the viral videos I have in my playlist. Viral videos, engagement, CTA.
To save so much time. Made a roasted tomatillo salsa to go with some carne asada tacos. Always slice your steak against the grain, you guys. I also made an elote chopped salad with roasted poblano dressing, and that was it. Day in my life as a private chef in the Hamptons.
So, private chef for your own family. Right? Right. I was hoping somebody in the comments was going to mention that, but do not see it. I mean, it's so unrealistic to try and take such broad strokes about your day. I think if you're gonna organize yourself enough so that you've got all this production stuff going on, all these lights and all this makeup and all these whatever that you are contributing to this content that you're making, if you're gonna go through all that trouble, I feel like the content shouldn't be shallow, and I feel like this content is shallow, thus I do not like it. That was a very simple conclusion. I probably could have thought of some additional words to use, but I chose not to. I wanted to be concise and clear, and gosh darn it, we got there. So this is really funny. Martin Yan, who was a television host of Yan Can Cook on PBS for a number of years, has a ton of like products that have his name all over it, ton of cookbooks, all kinds of stuff. I think he had a cooking school at some point. A lot of older celebrity chefs had their own like cooking institutions. That was like a big thing when I was getting out of school. People started buying into all the bigger institutions because they were they went bankrupt and they started having to be chopped up and sold off to different whatever. They ended up in the arms of the Culinary Academy Academy of Arts. But yeah, it's just really funny that this guy like chooses chooses a less efficient way to cut the center out of pepper.
To remove the seed from the bell pepper. Scissor your knife.
Not sizzle, scissor. I don't know why you're saying to scissor your knife. So, bad advice. You really just, you hold a pepper straight up, vertically, and you cut it into 4 quadrants. That way you've removed both the tail root end and the stem and the core all at once. You don't need to do some fancy like, oh, hang on, I gotta spend 5 minutes prepping this so that I can then do a magic trick. Okay, hang on, I'm gonna be really inefficient and I'm gonna cut this pepper in a really shitty way. So yeah, I just thought that was funny, that someone who claims to be so seasoned, food pun, that's right, I did one, who claims to be such an authority on cooking, has such a shitty opinion on the best way to cut a pepper. Hypocrite! Oh, yeah.
Hello, fellow.
So we're into the political stuff now. Sorry if this is not your bag. But I thought it was really funny that this guy decided that this was news, first of all, because this is, the statistic that he's using is from 2020. I'll just stack that next to it. But also really dumb.
There are approximately, give or take, 9 million Americans living abroad. Sometimes, yes, they even move because of politics, and increasingly.
Untrue. Sometimes, meaning in the statistic, if there's like a little pie chart. Okay, I don't think there's a pie chart for why they leave, but let's see if there's a stat for why. Who are these Americans? So yeah, it looks like the reasons are the early waves of emigration, post-war relocations and global influence, modern globalization, migration, and talks about how they tend to be highly educated, so left-leaning. I don't even know where he would have gotten that, because this is the article he's getting his information from. So it seems like maybe he just kind of made that up. Maybe these are pretty good. Nope. I don't see politics as a reason. United Kingdom. Nope. No. Yeah, I don't really see. Oh, here we go. Reasons for living abroad. There we go. I knew there was a pie chart. So 53% of all? What am I looking at? 48 and 49 and 48 make 80 something or 90 something. So why is there I'm confused. So political climate, 53% of expats who moved in the last year cited political reasons. So I mean this is last year as of 2020, 2025, so 2024. I mean, yeah, the political climate was heavier the last 4 years. But clearly, that doesn't seem to be the case as of this.
We're seeing more and more Americans leave the country every year.
When we ask them why they're moving, most people are looking for adventure and personal growth. But second most, especially last year, was that the U.S. is too conservative. I'll tell you, we just did our first ever Move Abroad Con. We had a big conference in Texas. 68% of people who came to it said the U.S. is too conservative. and 0% said the U.S. is too liberal. So it's definitely the biggest driving factor.
There are approximately, give or take, 9.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was going to try and set up some shitty point of view about how
Maggot,
it's only
let's talk-
liberals leaving like because of their tears or something. Like, no, it's true. Said the right stuff, or at least the person who was speaking said the right stuff. You got the right stuff. Gravy. Mashed potatoes, gravy all night long. Gravy? I think maybe I want some mashed potatoes and
Talk
gravy.
about something serious right now. There are a lot of people out there that dislike us, right?
Oh,
We
yeah?
know that. We don't care. We continue to push
Don't care.
forward. But the most
That's why you're making
interesting
this video, because you don't care about what people think of you.
thing about that is we are gaining.
You know, guys like that always use the word interesting in a really strange ways, don't they?
Gaining voters every single election. Look at the past elections. Look at the 2016 election. Look at the 2020 election. Look at the 2024 election. We gained voters. And if
no. I don't want to look up those stats. Ugh. When I'm editing this, I'll probably look up those stats, but I'm pretty sure that voter turnout being roughly equal, we would see an increase at, you know, certain intervals, but I wouldn't say that you gain voters every time. I mean, that would be like saying that some babies turned into adults this last year. We're counting more adults on our side than there were babies this time last year. News.
if you look at everything else,
What?
the other side, they are losing support. How do you think they feel?
Losing support? I mean, losing seats in the Senate, sure, but that's, you know, power grabs. And politics in practice is a lot different than politics in the ground or on the ground from a person's point of view. I mean, to the average person, it's like inflation's too high and those transes are doing something, trying to exist, but the other people don't really know what they're up to. It's like, oh, they're up to something, you know. Those just like the gays of the 80s, you know. Same shit. And now I really don't want to watch any of this, to be honest. But I just thought it was funny that guys that look like this are always the kind that are doing this kind of thing.
Patriots, welcome
What's
to
a little
another
bit of it,
episode
but
of Red Rights
it's gonna
and
be
You.
cringe.
I'm your host, Tim Andrews.
I'm your
it's
host,
been another
Tim
slow
Andrews.
week in American politics. You know, the
Oh,
usual.
American
Just
politics.
your average video surfacing of a Wisconsin judge helping a Mexican nationalist domestic abuser dodge ICE like she's...
Of course, they always got to put some kind of like disclaimer in there, like, "Oh, domestic abuser." So you're okay with hating him because his skin's brown because he's a domestic abuser. So, by the way, a judge was helping him escape ICE. See what I'm saying? Like, not even talking about the subject of the story, just mentioning that the subject of the story is a domestic abuser.
He's auditioning for a
Super
new
cool.
season of Law and Disorder.
Super cool. Oh,
Meanwhile,
making up names,
President
Law and
Trump
Disorder.
Decided he just wasn't
It's
busy
so
enough.
classy and fun.
He signed 4 executive orders, announced nuclear energy partnerships, and basically rewrote the future of American energy with the stroke of his pen.
I mean, no. Like, no. You can't just unilaterally do anything. As we saw with, you know, the pushback from the initial tariffs, which he then decided not to do. A lot of people said that it's, oh, well, because now China's willing to come to the table, but I mean, that nobody came to any table. He was like, oh, please, China, love me. Please pay me taxes. And they were like, no, thank you. We'll just take our business elsewhere. And he was like, oh, please I imagine that's how he talks on the phone. That's just my assumption. I don't know if that's true or not.
Because when you're making America great again, there's no time for naps, right, Joe? And
What? Naps? I mean, I guess if you're on speed all the time, then you're probably going to be awake a lot. But, I mean, there was a whole list of things that he had accomplished in his presidency. It's a strange thing to say that you just slept through 4 years. I mean, I would say that's, I guess, projection.
over in Europe, the tariff tango continues with the EU after talks stalled. Trump also caught wind that Apple is planning to manufacture iPhones.
What are you doing with your hands? Is this a nervous tick?
In India instead of right here in the good old US of A, and boom, 25% tariff on Tim Cook. Because if you want to play games,
25% tariff on an individual person. That's a thing. What? And why do you look like you're trying to cast a spell?
Globalism, you'd better expect to pay the America First price tag. Speaking of price tags, say hello to the $175 billion Golden Dome Defense Initiative. Think of it as Reagan Star Wars, but with more Trump and fewer Ewoks, and it's scheduled.
But that didn't have anything to do with Star Wars at all. The movie, like. And what I like, does he think that Reagan had something to do with the George Lucas Star Wars? I bet you this guy's younger than me. That's the reality right there. I bet you both these guys are younger than me. I'm joking. They're probably in their 50s, but you know what I'm saying? Like I bet you, you know, they look like they've been putting away a pack of Marlboros a day for three to 5 packs of Marlboros a day until them taxes jacked the price up too much. Now I just chew on patches I get with government money, even though I talk about how brown people are taking all the government money while I try to cast spells on people who watch my videos. This guy's praying
to be completed before he even finishes his term. The MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again, for those keeping score.
By taking away vaccines and ignoring the measles crisis? Interesting. Gross. Campaign manager. What the fudge? You see what I have to deal with? What the fuck is this? Goddamn Microsoft. Goddamn, who is it? Tim Cook? Who's... Bill Gates isn't part of it anymore. Goddamn Bill Gates. Goddamn Melinda Gates. Goddamn Bill and Melinda Gates. For all the awesome work you do. Goddamn you. Well, now what do I feel like diving into? I'm done reacting for now. It is 1:20. I could just find more stuff to react to. It's fine. More fodder for the B-roll. But before I look, I'm gonna go use the resty room. And then I will be righty back. I hate myself for saying that. It's not 420, it's 120. And I don't like that. I don't like the weed culture. Okay, don't get too excited. Nothing's happening. I will give you some scratches, but that's about all I can do for you right now. Still streaming. I'll take you for a walk later. I'll take her for a walk later. No, I know that. I know that time is different on a different side of the country. I know that. All right. Well, it's still 1:20 here. So, where do people find shitty takes? Like, where do people find people being stupid? Like, I know Reddit, obviously. But that's what I've always wondered. Like, where do you farm content? Living in the past? What? How? What? What? I guess it could just be like, just like, oh no, I've never actually done TikTok before. Like, look at TikTok. Like their TikToks has bad stuffs, right?
A sad morning.
People are dumb on TikTok, I believe. Let's look for food or cooking. Cooking for gains. Oh God. Don't come at me with no pectoral muscles. It poke my eyes out. Oh, chicken vaginas. Oh, I've seen those before. That's the viral thing where it's like cooking 7,000 pounds of dinner for my 35 member family. Where's the bad ones? I bet you these are all like the viral bad ones, you know, like not the actual bad ones. Ooh, elvers. Baby eels. Not very humane, but those things are frickin' delicious. It's not even that season. That's like spring, I think. Oh, could it be like trying a recipe for the first time? Could that could be like a rife with possibilities? Or maybe like home cooking? I'm just down to here home cooking. Down to here is what you would say if you were, you know, from the country. What is it? This person like really well made up, like at the thing? Mama and Josh. Is that in a Discord message? The one that I said that I would check out that I forgot to check out probably. Ah, yes. I don't want to see anyone making water pie. Oh my God. That's clearly, I think that's rage bait. I think that's just someone trying to do that on purpose, my guess.
Somebody sent me this recipe on Facebook.
One of your Facebook friends?
Yes.
Unfriend them.
How long does it take? It starts popping and everything. We're gonna have
Takes
a mess.
about 3 minutes for a medium-high heat for popcorn to pop. But you have to have like a really good amount of like fat. can't just have
This is one of those fake recipes that people post
dog
online.
grease.
It can't be.
Though
Yes, it
nothing
is.
is wrong with hot
Why
dog
can't
grease.
it be?
Because you can flavor
delicious.
popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
Popping corn. Are there like different kinds of, like, is there non-popping corn? Oh, I see some popcorn pieces. I want it to sound like it does in the microwave. when it goes pop,
No, there's too much liquid
That's
in
what
that.
I want it to do.
This gonna fill this whole
too much
container
liquid in
up.
But I don't want it to burn on bottom, so when do I take it off?
Right.
You know what I'm
You gotta
saying?
shake it.
Wow. This is what the video looked like?
Yes.
What the
You gotta
world?
shake it.
My gosh.
What?
I wouldn't want to be touching the
I'm just gonna take a
hot
picture
dogs
of this
with
and
hot
send
dog
it
pieces
to
with my
friend.
just hands. I'm not bare handing
Send
that.
it to her.
I am. I'm sending it to her right now.
I mean, the popcorn is like it's like a not a molecule, it's like a cell. Like it has a shell around it, and the inside is like inside of an impenetrable shell. So no matter what you got surrounding it, it's not going to absorb any of that flavor. It's just going to be popcorn and hot dog grease. It's not going to be hot dog flavored popcorn. If you want to flavor popcorn, you got to make it something into a powder, and then you toss it with butter and make the, you know, or you toss the powder directly on the popcorn. Then you get what I'm saying. Make it homogeneous. Homogeneous. Oh no, these are
This
delicious.
Turkish pide just might be better than pizza.
That's a bold
Pide?
statement. You
Pide?
know there are Italians on the internet, right?
Yeast water
So good.
mixture and some olive oil in a stand mixer.
Mix yeast water mixture, flour, and olive oil with my organic stand mixer. System with the oven on its highest for 10 minutes.
The edges with butter, slice it up, and enjoy.
I'll top them off with
So those things, it's almost the same as like khachapuri or khachapuri. It's like a Georgian dish that has like liquid cheese in a bread boat with an egg in it. Yeah. Delicious. Delicious. Very, very delicious. Always would recommend. But yeah, not finding the shitty takes on TikTok. I guess I'll check while I'm just kind of putzing around this evening and see if I can find a good channel or two that aren't just blatant wave riders. Wave riders. But yeah, not seeing it. I think there's got to be a way that yeah, see, obviously
315 calories for that much Chick-fil-A sauce. And we're not only eating 1 cup of cereal.
Why would you put it directly
98 calories. We are eating an entire bowl of cereal. This is what,
you know? Yeah, and like AI stuff. Like the stuff I see on Instagram is all like cat chefs. That's my pup. That's her. It's always real weird. Can't even click on that one. But yeah, it's usually like weird AI stuff, rage bait. So yeah, I don't really know how to search. Oh yeah, so this is like this is the thing now. Little kids being put onto these things by their parents and talking about how like school is for suckers and like work is for suckers. What the fuck? What the fuck? And they're saying like, oh, you know, you can buy my course. It's like, entrepreneur, business owner, young hustler. And I don't think that's meant to be rage bait. I think that's meant to be like, okay, I don't want my feed to be full of these things. That's like exploitation, right? Right? Like, I think that's people, like, they're pushing their kids to an agenda, right? I think that's what it looks like anyway. It's like the parents wanted to be cooks, or maybe they saw the bear and they're like, oh, that's, you know, the height of coolness, coolosity. I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to do all this stuff off stream, because I've just been wasting time now. But stuff like stuff like this just pisses me off. What's the point? And how much do you think they charged for that? Whew. But some of these aren't even reals. Like, I don't even know how to tell what... Yeah. I suck with technology. I just need to accept that. I need to accept that, and I think that that's a fair assessment, and it makes sense, you know? Yeah. Maybe one of these days when I get a social media account for my personal chef business, with my friend who I created an app with, maybe then I'll be able to afford getting things taken care of like that.
Babe, I can't do this. Can you please just ask for a fork?
Excuse me, sir. My wife needs a fork.
A fork? Really? Can I get a...
That sounds really familiar. I think this was in a TV show.
The things you never want to hear in a restaurant.
That no one ever has.
Hi, can I help you? This silverware is dirty. Oh, yeah, that happens a lot here. We're an eco-friendly restaurant, so our dishwasher only uses a tiny bit of water.
Not even a thing. I mean, well, I understand that, you know, eco-friendly restaurants are a thing, but that dynamic would not ever have happened. Oh, do you got your this is, you know, a dirty fork. Oh, yeah, let me replace that for you. That's it. That's all anyone would ever say. But Chef Scoob feels the need to just make up a thing that doesn't exist yet again for 689,000 likes. So it's an interesting content creator, let me just tell you that much, okay? I'm just gonna go ahead and dislike that.
I did.
Advertising.
Don't think about it.
What is this format now?
There's nothing I'd rather do. It's not.
Fuck, shit, no! See, where's all the shitty takes? Damn it.
They did not allow hair and makeup people.
Oh yeah, that's me.
In 2019, one Starbucks had a bizarre mystery. Every morning, the same man walked in, ordered a $6.
We redefined outdoor cleaning. No bleach, no hassle.
In this song,
What the hell are you burning? I got ashes floating in my coffee cup, and my tongue
Don't
tastes
knock
like
that
a
over.
Marlboro.
It'll be out in a minute, Marlene.
You can't just burn a fire in a residential neighborhood without a permit.
Well, why don't you just call the cops on me like you did?
Then we gotta sort by the upload date. Duck what? Duck what? What ducking? Oh. Duck, goose. See, look at that. Goddamn AI stuff. That's AI too. Look at that. Ah! Oh my god. turned into a steak. Oh, is that a dog? What on earth? Kids these days. Where's the non-AI stuff? Jesus Christ. What is that? Is it... Was it shooting hot dogs out of its legs? Oh my god, I'm so confused. That was very strange. Gross. Okay, so chef takes isn't a thing. Chef advice. I'm sunken cost fallacy now. Like I'm all up in this because no, you stop, because I need to find something good. Red seal chef? I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to opine. Oh, there's me. Look. I'm in a infinite mirror hallway. Oh, illegal. Hilarious. Bon Lippet? Chef tips for not dry turkey. Perfect hollandaise. Use a blender. Better mac and cheese.
We're going to get our guanciale going. We're trying to do it as classic as we can. I'm going to cut mine into nice little lardons because I like the texture. Cue the aggressive comments, but I'm sure you could use anything. Beaky bacon, back bacon, whatever you fancy, really. Next up, got a garlic clove, cut it into 3. We're just going to saute this with the guanciale, and then we're actually going to pick it out. We just want to get that garlic flavour in there, and then remove it. We're going to render out the fat. Guanciale is getting nice and crispy. A heart attack's worth of amount of cheese. These are the thickening agents here we've got. So the cheese and the egg yolk is going to be the base of our sauce along with the pasta water. As the cheese melts and makes the emulsification with the egg yolk, that's going to be the base of our sauce. Eggs and cheese, worst enemy is heat. We want the residual heat in the pan to cook the egg on a very gentle, and we're going to keep monteing this together so that the egg doesn't scramble in the pan.
Monte is mount.
We're going to get our guanciale going. We're trying to do it as classic as we can. I'm going to cut mine into nice little lardons because I like the texture. Cue the aggressive comments, but I'm sure you could use anything. Beaky bacon, back bacon, whatever you fancy, really. Next up, got a garlic clove, cut it into 3. We're just going to saute this with the guanciale, and then we're actually going to pick it out. We just want to get that garlic flavour in there, and then remove it. We're going to render out the fat. Guanciale is getting nice and crispy. A heart attack's worth of amount of cheese.
I know, it's loud for me too, gosh darn it.
These are the thickening agents here we've got. So the cheese and the egg yolk is going to be the base of our sauce along with the pasta water. As the cheese melts and makes the emulsification with the egg yolk, that's going to be the base of our sauce. Eggs and cheese, worst enemy is heat.
That should be better.
The residual heat
This should
in
be
the pan
better. That should be better.
On a very gentle, and we're going to
this and that, but should both be
together
better.
so that the egg does.
Okay.
This is Julio Diego Fernando Cardona.
So will it?
Get our guanciale going.
This is Julio Diego Fernando Cardona III. He is the creator of flan. In 1872, he invented this, and he is also
that
the
guy
oldest man in
is the
Spain
creator
at
of flan.
122 years old. This is Julio Diego Fernando Cardona III. He is the creator of flan.
So this
in
man.
1872, he invented this, and he is also the oldest man in Spain at 122.
Is 122 years old.
This is Julio Diego.
So this man. He's saying is 122 years old. So, I'm going to say no. What is the point? What is the point? The flan earther? So it's just a... Okay, I get it. It's a joke. I fell victim to the joke. I didn't leave an angry comment or anything, so we're clear from that, Forrest. But I did fall for it. See, I told you I fall for all this stuff. Like it's hard to tell these days. This man is not 122 years old. I mean, I knew that couldn't be possible, but I thought this person genuinely thought he was the creator of flan. Shameless
this
advertisement.
Is Julio Diego Fernando Cardone.
Yeah, it doesn't
Captain
look
America,
like
Brave New World.
What is the sauce recipe for chicken Alfredo?
A little bit of Parmesan, pasta water, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and some butter.
Oh,
Western style,
yeah,
use the
that's
cream
good.
to like help thick.
No. Don't be recommending cream. Don't you do that. Don't do that, Mr. Man.
Thicken up the sauce, it'll create that wonderful sauce that you really enjoy. And then for your chicken, hand sear it, slice it up, and then put it into that mixture after it's been all.
When it comes to female attraction, what's more
Oh dear.
important?
See, this
Hair,
has nothing to do
height,
with food.
No size.
You ask an Italian to make you
And then
eggs for
what, we're back into
breakfast.
food now?
Mamma, stamattina per colazione facciamo le uova.
Cosa?
Le uova, mi fai le uova?
Ma che siamo americani?
You ask an Italian.
And that's why are we cooking them in tomato sauce? I mean, that's cool. I'm into it. Let's see if Guy Fieri comes up with any good results. Take a look at some charts. Yeah, is that it? Nope. Upload date. Do we want to do that? Yep. Can we? Is that good? Can we? If we just, this is fine. I think this is fine.
Dragon's breath chili. What fat are we gonna cook it in? Bacon and pancetta fat. I'm just gonna add a little bit to start with. Butter in as well. Sweating these onions right now.
Never spent
Got
a day
my
in
grill preheated over here.
in a kitchen
and
in
I'm
his
gonna throw
life
on
cooking.
some poblano and some
Never
Anaheim
once.
chilies. Some red
Never
bells.
once.
A couple jalapenos. Give them a little dice. Let that heat up. Now let's look at
At
these
least not in a
peppers.
professional
The
kitchen.
idea is I put them in this bowl.
That wasn't
I
owned
cover them
by
with some
a member of his
plastic
family.
wrap, and when I do that, well, they're gonna sweat their skins off. So let me get a little garlic down in here. 12 cloves. I'll stir it around these peppers while the side gets hot. Got 3.
To be fair, that's not why you put the peppers in like an airtight container. It's to use the heat and vacuum to the flesh will continue to cook of the pepper, and it'll contract as it cooks, and it starts to pull away from the skin, and the pressure that is now negative inside the container pulls, like, it creates a vacuum or a suction concept that actually lifts the skin off of the pepper. So there's I keep hitting the mic. There's a lot of stuff underneath what he's saying that he doesn't ever really seem to get. He's very surface level knowledgeable, just like Gordon Ramsay. Very surface level, very like from a cookbook.
3 kinds of meat. Italian sausage, some ground beef, a little boneless chuck. So I'm gonna cut this about a 1/4-inch piece. So these bad boys back into the hot.
And you know, he does something that a lot of celebrity chefs and, you know, viral TikTok cooking chefs that will do, which is mixing meats together. It's just completely unnecessary. You don't ever really need to do that. 2 meats, anything more than one type of meat on something is going to muddle the flavor, which is fine if it's like a pizza or something. You're going to get different parts of that flavor profile every other bite. Totally okay, but for the most part, you're just gonna end up confusing your palate. And if it's like a pasta or nachos, like he's doing right here, that have, you know, try to get every component in every bite, that's a lot of noise going on. My advice is just don't put extra shit into things. Like if you are trying to come up with something, like, and you want it to be fancy, the best thing you can do is reduce the number of ingredients and just do all of them really, really well. So like if you want chicken, if like you're trying to do an anniversary dinner chicken for your partner or whatever, and they have requested a delicious roasted chicken, you really just need the chicken, a little bit of some salt, and maybe one herb that you really like, and just roast the fuck out of it until it's done, and make a little pan sauce from the bits of the chicken that stick in the pan when you lift the chicken out. Easy fucking peasy, and all it takes is a couple of ingredients and a whole chicken, and you're good. Like, that's a full dinner. Like, I mean, there's really nothing else to it, and that's like a Michelin star chef who wrote that recipe, which is just a simple chicken dinner, which is you take a chicken and you tie it so that it's all like trussed in a one ball, and then you roast it 450 for like 40 minutes. That's it. A little bit of salt inside the cavity. Sprinkle some thyme, like that's what I like, thyme. Sprinkle some thyme on there. That's it. When it's done, take it out of the pan, and that pan's still probably going to be pretty hot. Rest the chicken on a wire rack. Dump a little bit of some white wine mixed with water and a little bit of chicken base into that pan that's now being deglazed. Scrape the shit off the bottom. Reduce that shit by half. If it's too loose, add a little bit of Wonder flour or some cornstarch slurry to it. You've got chicken and sauce. Roast potatoes with it too, for that matter. Takes no effort, and those are done in about 40 minutes too. Now you've got main dish and side. Bada bing, bada boom. Take some wild arugula. Take a big old handful of some clean wild arugula and just toss it in with the wine, water, chicken base, chicken schmaltz mixture that you got going on, and you've got some wilted arugula for a veggie side. Bada bing. You've just made a dinner for 40 minutes, and it cost you, what, maybe $20 for like 6 portions? That's not bad. That's not bad. So yeah, Guy Fieri sucks.
Guy Fieri eliminates French fry shapes.
Well, it wouldn't be shoestring. Hands down, that's probably my favorite. It's either the crinkle or the waffle. I'm gonna have to say goodbye, crinkle.
Guy Fieri eliminates French fry
shapes. He says that
shapes.
shoestring potatoes are his favorite?
Hands down.
Hate this guy. That's not even how they're supposed to come out of the can. And I don't even think this is his restaurant, because his restaurants don't look like that. They look like weird, like, comic book graffiti alleyways. Like an alleyway would look in a comic book. Like, all, you know, like oh, you know, Artie was here. You know, who the fuck's Artie? You know, that kind of thing. It's just like really bad, like, posturing. Like Guy Fieri's whole persona. But yeah, his restaurants don't look like that. I get the feeling that this is just some random restaurant.
Hey, Chef.
For licensing?
Hey, man. Hey, I got a question for you. If you had to make me, I just snuck into the kitchen.
He's not a chef.
Man. Yeah. If you had to make me something to eat, what would it be?
All of it, but of course trash can nachos. Now run this. It's getting cold.
No, yeah, that is his restaurant, but this is how it's supposed to come out, and it didn't come out the way in another one. See, like, they're supposed to fall, like, slowly.
What?
Even then, not very good. It's
I
just
gotta see the grape jelly thing first.
It's a water pitcher that they just put nachos in, and that's it. It's not anything fancy.
First thing we do is add butter, onions, and you add the bacon.
I'm Stavros Halgis, and this is my...
Millions fly with us at Allegiant because together...
The best kind of cheese to put on your grilled cheese.
See, then we, like, got away from it, and, like, got away from food, and then we went back to food. Weird.
Things you hear in restaurants, you wish were made up.
That are actually made up.
I'll get the avocado toast with a fried egg on top and 12 slices of bacon. 12? Yeah. Okay.
Which I'm sure a server would be like, that's weird, but wouldn't say anything bad about it. And the chef would not, like, say, it would just be like, yeah, charge him for a side of bacon, Most places that serve breakfast have sides of bacon. So even somebody going in and saying, hey, may I have 12 slices of bacon at a place that you're eating breakfast at anyway, avocado toast with egg on it, it wouldn't even be weird. It would just be like, yeah, I'll just put that in as like 4 sides of bacon if that's cool, you know. Whatever. I'll bring that all, want it all out like on separate plates, or I can bring it all in one, whichever one you want. Either way, it's all good. Like there's this, again, the premise of the video doesn't exist, so therefore why does the video exist? Why just make something up? There's enough drama happening in restaurants every day that one could recall for inspiration, and if you'd ever worked in a restaurant, you'd know that.
Okay, well, it comes with 2, and a side of bacon also comes with 2, so I'm gonna have to charge you for 5 sides of bacon. Well, how much is that? $7.50. Okay, how many can you give me for free? Just the 2 that come with it. Dude, what am I supposed to do with 2
Which, how often are you out eating with somebody that says, hey, can I get something for free? And like, I won't even include the people who do it performatively to try and be like the funny one in the group, or, you know, oh, there's no price tag, I guess it's free. You know, not that, I won't count that, but how often do you think that people just go into restaurants and go like, hey, can I have 12 slices of bacon for free? Never. The answer is never. The answer is not once, not ever once, never has it ever once happened once. Not once, not ever, never ever once. And somehow that's the premise of an entire
slices of bacon?
20-second clip.
I mean, you can order more, I just have to charge you for them. That doesn't make any sense.
Like the server character in his shorts often takes way too much liberty and way too little accountability in replying to customer inquiries. So this, I mean, it's a good example here that the scenarios where a person is asking for additional slices of bacon and the scenario doesn't exist, so he's got to create these, you know, lie on top of a lie on top of a lie. But the server ends the scene like frustrated, you know, or like agitated because nobody would ever do that. Like, there's no server that would ever behave that way. And I think he's also kind of making up the idea that the server would push back, because that's in all his videos. That's what the servers do. They push back on the customer and say like, okay, well, I'll have to do this. You don't say it. You would just go and do it. Like, if you wanted to charge them for 4 sides of bacon, 5 sides of bacon, you would just be like, all right, it'll be 5 sides of bacon if that's cool. And then if they say, you know, no, I don't want it free, then you'd be like, well, we're a restaurant. We don't give away food for free. And then they'd be like, that's ridiculous. You'd be like, feel free to go somewhere else. That's it. I mean, it's just not a situation that has ever happened, nor would it be something that a server would entertain, nor would it be something that a server would waste time trying to explain to somebody in this manner. Shall we say that? I'm really punching up. I mentioned that I dislike this guy's video quite a lot. Hopefully he doesn't see for a very long time until I'm nice and well known and well liked, and then maybe he'll think that it's just a bunch of good-natured ripping. Who knows? I don't mean it in good fun. I don't mean to be judgy of him personally either. I just don't like his content, and I think that's a fair criticism, as long as I don't personally attack anyone, right? Clips and good intros and good, like, you know, things that aren't just noisy and erratic and that tickle my brain. All right. There's another stream in the belt, under the belt, in the bag, box. In the bag, box, belt, there's another stream. And it's not going to stop streaming. It's going to be a thing to remember for always and ever always. I'm Goose. Thank you. Like and subscribe and